5, 4. Good
morning.
Morning, guys. It is Thursday night for us. Friday morning for you.
Yes, it is.
We are here.
Well, we really should have been gone, but we're not.
Yeah, we are going to celebrate an early Thanksgiving in Southern California. We were supposed to leave Thursday morning. Didn't happen. We're still here.
Yeah.
The dream team is here. Yeah. So we wanted to drop some knowledge right now before we pack up our stuff because we're leaving in the morning. And we didn't give them a devotion yesterday because we did almost a 3-hour Bible study.
Yeah.
I said 2.5 hours. Adam said it was almost 3.
7, 8, 9.
I don't know.
9:30.
But
Just about.
that's because we did worship too, though. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. All I know is that my face feels extremely hot. I'm tired. And I feel like my face has been in the oven all day. That's because it has been in the oven all day.
Sharon has been very, very, capital letters, very busy. And as well as myself, but not as busy as her. Because when you're standing on your feet all day like that in the kitchen, that's a lot of hard work, guys. But I was going to set up and do a devotional because she was just like, she was in her zone. And I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and do a devotional. And she was, well, just wait, you know. So I waited a few minutes and here she is in the flesh.
Yeah. I don't even take off my apron, guys. I got the little black apron on.
So, I wanted to talk about a couple things first. Even though they can't see that, that's why I had it here. I wanted to kind of just let them see the size of this thing it's going to be.
I wouldn't let them see it at all yet.
The size. You can't see the thing. The camera won't show it.
Okay.
Can you see it?
I can't even move anymore.
So guys, the piece of, I'm going to put it way back here because you won't be able to see it. That's the size of the canvas.
Put my head on there.
Of the next painting. You can't tell, but I already sketched it in pencil. Just to kind of help me. And as soon as I get back from Southern California, we're just going to do basically a quick turnaround. Bam, that's going to be a painting. That's going to be the next one. There's only going to be 10 prints. I keep saying that, but it's going to be called Los Trabajadores, the workers. Home Alone.
I did a lot, man. I got a lot done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's the next size canvas. That's going to be the original. What did you do today? You want to share with them or no?
Yeah, I actually did individual pumpkin cheesecakes. I did a large pumpkin cheesecake. I did a blueberry churro individual cheesecakes. I did guys, I'm like, when it comes to going to spend a lot of money on some places, I'm just not going to do it. So I made my own nothing but cakes, but for me, it's nothing but mama cakes, okay? So they're my cakes. I made my own, guys, you know, because I'm not about to go spend no $30-40 for a dozen of, you know, the little bundt cakes. It ain't happening.
They're expensive, huh?
Heck yeah, for like a dozen, they're like $40.
Oh man, come on, get out of here.
Yeah, so I made my own. Carrot cake ones, and then I made strawberry shortcake ones, and then I made fresh strawberry nut ones, and they're all fresh strawberry, guys. They're all my own recipes. And I make them with fresh cream cheese. Their cream cheese topping on top of
Cream
it.
cheese is really good.
That's David's favorite. But I did that as well. And did I make any? Oh my God, I'm trying to think what else I made. So I think that's it for dessert wise. And then ambrosia, I'm taking ambrosia, and then I made a baked macaroni that I'm taking it prepared already, guys, so that way my daughter can just put everything into the oven when we get over there. And then I'm just taking the turkey pretty much prepared, just so she can just, we can just throw it in the oven to roast it and stuff. And then we're going to be doing the hams. You're going to be making the hams over there. Yeah.
I need to remember to take all the little stuff in there.
I'm getting it all ready for you. But yeah, guys, originally, as you guys know, my son, his eye, since he had his accident with his eye and everything, originally we were going to be having it here, but, unfortunately, we're just going to go do a quick little turnaround and just go for a day and come right back.
Yeah, we're going to try to leave Friday early morning. That way we could at least have a Friday evening and early day and then Saturday.
Yeah, and just, and come right back, guys. But, these are the sacrifices that we make, so that way we can be able to, come back and be back. But, man, we love our kids and everything, and then be back with your family and be back, and spend time with our families as well.
Yeah.
Yep. But when you have a blended family.
Yeah. My parents came over today too, and we got them some of the, what are they called? What are they really called?
The tangerines?
Tangerines? Okay, because everybody calls them cuties.
Yeah, they're tangerines.
I just feel weird saying cuties.
Yeah, tangerines.
They're tangerines.
Yes.
And so my parents took a whole bag. They're really good. They're bigger than they've ever been.
Yeah.
Because usually tangerines are small. These are like oranges.
Yeah, they're big size this year.
Yeah.
They're bigger this year.
It's weird.
I'm surprised. Yeah.
Yeah. What's weird is that there's actually a little bit less of them, but the ones that are there are bigger.
Yeah.
So
I'm surprised.
But yeah, that, and I was running all over the place today, and then working on some stuff, and yeah, man, it's been a very active day, I guess. Is that the proper way to say it?
Yeah, it's been productive.
Yeah. Somebody had asked me today, Cholo Trugger called me, and he asked me a question, but he's like, I was telling him about the drive, and he's like, because he's a trucker, and he's like, do you like driving? Because there's guys that hate driving. I was like, you know what, to be honest with you, I don't mind it, as long as I'm not sleepy.
Yeah.
I said, as long as I get sleep, I enjoy driving. I like it. Me and Sharon, we go for drives, and I really enjoy it. Just as long as I'm rested.
Yeah.
Because then when I'm tired, oh man, Sharon almost has heart attacks every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, guys, I did want to share something real quick. Is that you guys know that in December we have Eli's book being published. We have Sister Lydia's book being published. We have the Who Are You? Identity in Christ. And it's not like they're going to release the same day, because they're each at their stages, And man, it's not as easy as just writing a book, because like when you write a book, I printed a couple samples of just what when you write a book, like let's say you use Microsoft Word, or what's the other one? Google
Docs.
Yeah, Google Docs, like this. That's like you print it at home, right? And it just comes out like that. Look, like it's not even lined up. It's just like, how do you turn that, into the pages look like that? And it's a process.
Yeah.
It's a process of making that happen, and it's not that easy, So it's like I'm doing that to Sister Lydia's, because she re-edited hers and resent her chapters, and putting all that together, and Eli's, and I noticed he had inserts for pictures too, and he didn't give those to me. So same thing with Lydia, with the pictures of hers, and just putting those things together, guys. And it's a process, but at the end, when you hold it in your hand, it's a huge accomplishment to be able to do that. And even though Eli wrote his many years ago and published it, we're republishing it, but still proud every time somebody does a project like that. And Sister Lydia, she's like, I don't know how you do it. I think she came into it thinking it was going to be easier than it was.
Yeah.
But after her, I think she counted the months she's been working on it, and she just like, I don't know how you do it.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, to be able to put it down. And I do know that, Sharon was helping me when Sister Lydia was here a couple of weeks ago, kind of inputting her. You were breaking apart her chapters because I needed them broken apart. Remember? Is that what was happening?
I was not breaking apart her chapters.
What were you doing?
I was re-editing all of...
Oh, they were jumbled?
It was all jumbled up. Yeah. Something happened to where all of her stuff got jumbled up, and it was just reorganizing everything all over again. So, yeah.
Well, my point was this, is that after Sharon did that and had to unjumble it, right? and you had to put it in different files for me because that's the way I format it to get ready to be pressed, And you said, you know what? I think I can do this. Like it gave you
It just motivated me. I think it encouraged me, and it just made me realize like I'm ready to write my book.
Because you've always seen me write mine, but you never seen it, but kind of seen hers like that. And then I know hearing Eli talk, I think that added more to
I think what it did is hearing Eli share his testimony the other day. When you hear somebody share to the extent and being so open in detail, I never really truly understood. It's like, how does somebody share such detail of their testimony without losing integrity? Mm-hmm. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think it's so important that when we share our testimony, that we also keep our integrity at the same time. It's very important.
Yeah.
And how we share our testimony and how we represent ourselves is important as well. And I seen that in Eli the other day. And I've always questioned that, and I've always wondered, like, Lord, I want to share my book. I know that you can't write it. You can give me pointers on how to do it. You can teach me and show me and all of that, but it has to come from my heart. You can't do it because there's so many things in me writing my book that I would never feel comfortable you writing my book, because it's there's a lot of things that it just wouldn't be right for you to be the one to write it. It has to come from my heart, because I went through some...
It's your story.
It's my story,
and
there's some very, very heavy things that me as a woman, I went through, and it has to come from me. So, and just hearing Eli, and I think I'm going in the right direction. I really do believe I'm going in the right direction. And just being in the kitchen today and baking again, and just all of that, it always just motivates me, and just getting in there and recreating and creating new recipes and just throwing new things, it makes me realize that I'm capable still. And I still have a beautiful gift that the Lord has given me. And I just kind of feel like, Lord, sometimes I feel that I'm not capable of doing certain things, but then he reminds me, like, I gave you this gift. Don't ever think that it's gone.
Yeah.
You know, I'm here and I'm reminding you that you are still capable, you know, because a lot of the times I sometimes feel like I'm done. Like, what else am I going to do? This is it for me, you know, and I just kind of feel like, what else is next?
Yeah.
You know, and he just reminds me, like, I'm not done with you. You know, I have something more for you. And so he just reminds me.
Yeah. You know, like you were saying though about Eli when he came and shared, is you know how you said it how do you share and yet keep your integrity and all that? You know, I do gotta say, like, I had a pastor call. He called us and he congratulated us for being brave for letting him share his testimony. And I'm like, what do you mean? He shared it's about him, the Lord finding him.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, but some of the things he said wouldn't be allowed to be said in churches.
I kind of find that so...
Yeah. And I was like, what? You know, and
yeah.
I said, it was a beautiful...
Yeah.
It was a beautiful story of redemption. You know, I mean, it's like, and it made me weird because I'm like, we will preach Hosea, but in real life, we don't want to hear it.
Exactly.
Hosea was a prophet that God told him to marry a prostitute. And people preach it.
Yeah.
But let that be done in real life. In a current relevant now, and it's like, you know, so I tripped out.
Yet how many times did God tell him to go back and retrieve her? How many times?
Or King David seeing Bathsheba and committing adultery, and she got pregnant, and so he had the husband killed, and oh man, but you hear a testimony about that now, it's like, oh, you know, so I found it weird, but at the same time, I guess we're on the right track because he's like, man, I'm proud of you guys for allowing his story to be told behind your pulpit. Yeah. You know, and I'm like, I didn't even think nothing of it. Number two, Eli himself after said, thank you guys, remember? And I said, why? He goes, I've been stopped by pastors in the middle of my testimony. They don't even let me finish. He goes, sometimes I've been sharing and people just get up and walk out. He goes, sometimes I go and they let me, but it's real quiet. And after, like, nobody, you know, says anything. Nobody shakes my hand. They just kind of leave, and I never get invited again. You know, and I'm just like, that doesn't even make sense. You know.
Well, then I guess it wouldn't make sense. Then, you know, you married a woman whose father, you know, who was almost raped by her own father. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
who the same thing practically almost happened. The same thing. You know, it's like, what would happen if I shared my testimony? Am I to be ashamed of me sharing my testimony the day that I stand behind that pulpit and share my testimony? Do you get what I'm saying?
You know, I tripped out that any church would have rejected his story because I'm like, you know what? Sin and wickedness and things that happen to us in our lives, that's reality.
Yeah, shame on that person who stops the person from sharing the beautiful thing that God has done in a person's life, you know?
And then this is what I told them. I said, you know what's sad is churches will encourage, if your testimony is you were a biker in a biker gang or a drug dealer or a gang member, or you were in prison and you were stabbing people and you did so much coke and you did lines of coke this long and oh, nobody has a problem with that. But the moment you share your story, they have a problem with it. Like, We all have been saved by grace. We all have been shown mercy by the Lord. Did he not die for all?
Yeah.
And ultimately, the lifestyle he led, that wasn't his choice. That he was a 5-year-old child, and that was imposed on him. And I'm like, brother, I said, I'm glad you shared your testimony. I said, you know what? The whole congregation was glad too. How do I know that? Because he stood around for half hours. Everybody talked to him and hugged him and shook his hand, and you know what I mean. So that's what I told the pastor that called me. I said, you know what? When I saw that showed us that we're on the right track.
When I stood around after and I talked to Eli, I told Eli, and I shared part of my testimony with Eli. And I said, Eli, and I said, I can relate so much to you. He was surprised, guys. Like, he's like, you can? And I said, yeah. I was sexually abused by my real father. And I told him, and I said, Eli, and I said, my father used to put money in my underwear to shut me up every morning. And he just stood quiet. And his eyes got teary, and it's hard, guys, because a lot of the times people will come and they'll look at me and they'll be like, pastor's wife, I'm a pastor's wife and everything, but people don't know where I came from. They don't know the life that I lived, or the sacrifices, or the hardship that I came from. And they see a happy person, or they see, the person that I am now and everything, but they don't know the hard life that I came from, or the brokenness that the Lord brought me from, or any of that, and I praise God. I praise God for the life and the love that he has bestowed upon me. Really, I do. So I know one day that I too will be giving my testimony, and I will stand proud to give my testimony. So I'm proud of him.
Amen. Me too. And then we had the final Bible study for the Who Are You? Identity in Christ. We finished that off, and
I still haven't had my headache.
Amen.
When I felt like throwing up, and then it was gone. And then when I was in the car, I was like, is my headache wanting to come back? And then after I got home, and I'm like, oh, I don't have my headache. And then after I haven't had a headache.
Yeah, Sharon was really bad yesterday, guys. Really bad. I knew, her head was hurting. She was not feeling good. And that's one thing I got to say about Sharon. Is rain or shine, if she got to worship, she's going to worship. If she has to be there, she's going to be there. I'm the same way. I mean, the only reason we didn't go when we have COVID is just because of everybody else, but we still kept doing devotionals for the most part, when we had COVID back in April, and I knew she wasn't feeling good, and even like the lights were bugging her, and I think she thought I got snippy at her, but I wasn't. I was just like, because how like I imagine, I've never had a migraine, but they say like light is like 10 times more than what it really is.
Yeah, I really felt like throwing up. I felt really, really bad. My head was throbbing.
When she was worshiping and she couldn't read the lyrics because the light that we have above, the one light she kept saying was too bright was the light that doesn't change. And I because I'm way in the sound booth and I'm like, it doesn't change, but I think she took it like I was being smart aleck, but that light doesn't change. It's just the light bulb, it's a light. So, but I knew her head was hurting and there was nothing I could do. I couldn't turn the lights off on her, because then she wouldn't be seen on camera. But man, anyways, at the end of the study, I know it's a long Bible study, but if you haven't got a chance to watch, at least forward to the end, the last, 45 minutes maybe? Mm-hmm. And all this teaching in the last 9 weeks, I gave some demonstration on how to pray for healing. And I prayed for a brother first, boom, he got healed. And then I said, now you do it. Because I don't want a whole video of me doing it.
I rarely, guys, I really don't go up for prayer. It's very, very rare. But I really, my head was really hurting.
I could see it in your face when I was doing the study.
And I was like, Lord, you know what? I'm gonna just let this brother pray for me.
It was his first time. I prayed for him, and if you watched the video, I was directing on how to pray for somebody, and then once he got healed, man, he got tears. I don't know if you can see it.
I just felt because I felt his excitement.
Of what just happened to him?
Yeah, because I felt his excitement and I felt his enthusiasm, his excitement and the faith and everything, and I just felt something in him, the fire. I was like, you know what? I want to be prayed by him. And that's why I didn't hesitate. And I wanted to just go up there.
Yeah.
Something was like, just go up there. And that's why I said, I just said, I want to be prayed for.
I wish you guys would have seen his face as he walked up. His face was in pain every step he took. I had no idea he'd been dealing with his kidneys. He actually went to the hospital today to do some kind of scan that had already been an appointment. But when he walked up, every step was painful. And I've had my back hurt like this. I've never had kidney issues, but I imagine that shooting pain on your lower sides, you know? And that's how he was when he walked up. And I love what he said. He goes, I believe.
Yeah.
You know, and boom, you know, prayed for him and the Lord healed him. And he was so excited. Guys, if you had gotten a Zoom, you would have seen tears coming down his face toward the end of me commanding prayer, healing. And you're right. I love the fact that Sharon jumped on it, because here's what happened. Once he felt that pain leave, you know what happens to faith? It rises.
Yes, it does.
Faith rises. And I said, now you're going to pray for somebody. Who here has pain? And Sharon's like, me. You know, she came up quick.
Yeah, and I don't, like I said, guys, I don't do that. There's so many times when I'm in so much pain, and I rarely ever go up to the altar, ever. I don't, guys. I really don't. We had just we went to the neurologist the day before, right? The day prior to that?
Yeah.
We went to the neurologist, guys, and, you know, the doctor was already putting me on a really higher dosage of the brain medication. The elevation is much higher. The brain fluid is much higher in my brain.
Is that what's that medicine for? For that?
It's to alleviate the fluids, so that way there wouldn't be much pressure in the brain. And you know, that was back. The pressure was measured back when I was in the hospital. When I had the
paralysis.
When I had the paralysis, guys, and it was high back then.
That was in April. And
that was in April. So if that was back then, and I've gained weight, you know, in just the last few months, I'm sure it's elevated even more. I've gained a lot more weight, guys, since I've been taking so much steroids and had so many steroid injections. And it's crazy, because I feel it's a catch-22 for me, because it seems like I've taken so many steroid injections because of, you know, keeping the swelling down for the paralysis. But the catch-22 is the more steroids are giving me, the more weight I'm gaining, which is causing, you know, more fluid to gather in, you know, and for me to have more swelling. And that's not good for me. So here I am months later, and I'm sure that, you know, I have more fluid buildup. So, you know, the doctor's like, I need to give you more medication. And I'm like, yeah, this is not good. Not good at all. So I've been having a lot of headaches.
Yeah. So
My eyesight's been bad.
so Junior got prayed for. He got healed. I said, now you're gonna pray for somebody. That's the only way, guys. You're gonna learn
Yeah.
if you actually do it. So then you came up, and he began to pray for you. What did you feel, and at what point, or what did you feel?
The first thing I felt was because I haven't been able to, my right side has been numb, guys. I can feel when my right side's numb, and it started to immediately tingle. It like tingled, and then I can actually feel my right side right away. And
In
then
the
I
middle
just,
of his prayer?
yeah. And then I just got really hot. Like all of a sudden, like I just felt like heat all of a sudden. And I just, like I could feel my face all of a sudden. And then I just started to, like, I didn't feel like throwing up anymore because I literally felt like throwing up, like really, really bad. Like just standing up, like every time I'd take a step, I felt like vomiting. And that went away right away, guys. Like that completely. And the pain started to subside. It literally went from like an 8, 9 all the way down to like a 6. And
He asked you.
He asked me where did it go down to, and it had went down to like a 6. And then by the time I went to go sit down, it was already, and then I forgot all about it. And by the end of the night, I was already talking. And then we stayed there talking with Sister Joanna, and I was already laughing by the end of the night. And my headache was gone by the time we went home.
Ruins.
Yeah, and I told David by the time we went home, and it was gone by the time we went to bed, and it hasn't. I've been baking all day, you guys, and the only thing that hurt are my feet because I've been on my feet all day.
You know, we had Pastor Al got prayed for. His shoulder had been hurting him. Johnny, Louis.
Yeah.
Louis had been in a hospital with bleeding blood vessels in his brain the day prior.
Our
you
Louis.
know, and he was feeling certain kind of way, and who prayed for him? Was it Junior too, or
no? Lorena.
Lorena prayed for. That's right. Lorena prayed for him, and he felt something shift.
She felt something shift.
That was and I didn't bring that up yesterday in the teaching, guys. A lot of times when you pray for somebody, once you get to do it more and more, which I found it interesting because it was, I don't know if that was her first time, but the very fact that she felt it, you know, it's a trip because like sometimes I'll pray for somebody and I'll just be praying whatever, and then I'll just be like, oh, there it is.
Oh, your arm feels really good there.
I'll be like, there it is. Like I can't explain it. Almost feels like some kind of current or something.
Yeah, it does.
You know, and the only thing I can say biblically is when the woman touched Jesus' hem and he stopped and he says, who touched me? And the disciples, they're like, well, what do you mean? There's thousands of people around us. He goes, no, somebody touched me and power came out of me. That's what he said, right? Well, if Christ is in us, can it be possible that we feel power go? You know, and I should have made that a point yesterday because Lorena says, I felt that too. The moment he felt something shift is the moment she felt something.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really interesting, guys. And it was beautiful.
But it was beautiful because there was other people that said that when they prayed for me, for my head, that somebody else felt that online as well. You know, and they received it. It's because they too wanted to receive it, so they received it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and if you open yourself to receive something, then you shall receive it. You know, and I think that's beautiful.
And somebody had asked this question, and I didn't even bring this up. If somebody said, does it depend on the faith of the one being prayed for? And I use the example of Lazarus. How could Lazarus have faith if he was dead? But I have a better relevant example. Oscar and Marlene in Vegas. She was tired from work. She was trying to watch the Bible study, but it's a 3-hour Bible study. She fell asleep. But she always wakes up with a massive headache and her wrist was hurting. Yeah. Right? And she's asleep, so there's no faith involved there. Oscar's watching the video, and he's probably looking wherever they were, in the couch or the bed or whatever. He's like, oh man, I better lay hands on my wife's shoulder, on her wrist. Puts his hand on her wrist, and he followed what we were doing. She woke up.
Wrist was healed.
Healed.
Yep.
She woke up healed. Sister Naomi in Davis, her too. Something about her calf or something, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want to mess up the story, but basically something happened. She's had this ongoing thing. Literally had like a hole where her muscle was, or something like that.
She's had pain, but where she had sort of like a area that was
like a hole, like a dip.
Yeah, like a dip area. It was actually, she had muscle there.
Yeah.
Yeah, she felt muscle in that area.
Yeah, the dip went away. Boom, she got healed.
Yeah.
Over the phone, guys.
Yeah.
And I say all that to say this is a lot of times old school. I don't want to pick on old school, right? Because it's a lot of the old school, it's the things they built that brought us where we're at. So, but at the same time, I think they went by their understanding. So when somebody would pray for a healing, they'd be like, oh my gosh, you got it. You got the healing. You got it. And so then they bring more people to them. And the person's like, well, I guess I do. They did get healed. So then more people come and they get healed, and more people come, and all of a sudden they're the man or they're the woman, and everybody comes to them. And the beauty about this is that we all have Christ in us, and he's no respecter of men, and he's the healer. So if Jesus is the healer, what does that have to do with me or you? Or it's not about great men of God, great, it's about being obedient to the Lord. That's why the last thing we talked about was to walk worthy of it. Walk worthy of the Lord. Serve the Lord. The Great Commission. Follow Him. Allow Him to be your everything, and allow Jesus to flow through you, man. And it was a beautiful thing, like, Oscar praying for his wife and her getting healed. Junior praying for you getting healed. Lorena praying for Louis, him getting healed. That's what it's all about. It's not about being that person. It's about allowing Jesus to be who He is. Makes sense, right?
Yep.
So guys, if you didn't get a chance to watch that in, make sure, you forward it. I know it's a long video, but just go back and you'll see, because it's when the camera zooms back that when we start praying for people and stuff, and just listen to it, what it is that we're saying, and start to do this yourself,
Amen.
So I think that's it, right?
Yes.
You got more to do?
I got a lot to do.
Why are you giving that to me? We haven't even finished yet.
Oh.
That's kind of messed up. Put it back. Don't just handing a microphone to me. That's messed up.
Sorry, guys. It messed up, eh?
Put it back.
Why?
Because we're going to properly do what we always do. You're not going to hand a mic to me and walk off like a talk show, like being mad on Dave Letterman and you just leave. Like, man, I'm done with this interview. You know what I mean? Start taking the mic off. So anyways. Have a good morning. Have a blessed day. Have a great weekend.
Hasta luego.
And we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.